the main problem people have in following through with their goals is that they're in the wrong mind-body state to do what they need to do, to accomplish what they need to accomplish. So today we're going to talk about how you get into the right mind-body states to follow through with your life goals and to live well. Sound like a good plan? Right. So I developed a framework that I think summarizes most of the research on how to get there. And I call it the kind of core framework. And you can see it here, the core strategies. It's in my book, available at Amazon. One of you today will get this book. So whoever asks the best question or makes the best comment, the best compliment, whatever you like, So the core strategies. Core because it's kind of like your physical core, right? A lot of you look like you exercise. You strengthen your physical core. Why do you do that? Because your core helps you move your body through the world more effectively, with strength, with stability, with balance. So this is about our psychological core. Stabilizing, strengthening our psychological core so that we can move through life more effectively. We can meet challenges more effectively and without psychological injury. Right? So it's also an acronym. And we'll go through each of these four strategies, sets of strategies, and have a little bit of a practice with each of them. Right? So the first one, C, stands for centering. When I was doing martial arts, we had an expression which said, first center before you extend out into the field. Right? Because if you're not centered, when you extend out, what's going to happen? You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to
Go all over the place?
Be all over the place, and someone's going to knock you on your ass. Right? I mean, that's what's going to happen. You're going to be off balance. If we move into the field of life uncentered, the first challenge we face is also going to knock us down. Right? So we want to center first before we extend out into the world. Right? And when we do fall, we get out and we recenter again. It's the first thing we do. We center and then we move forward. Does that make sense? So we're going to talk about some strategies for centering. The second strategy is open. O for open. Right? So one of the challenges that we have sometimes is our mindset narrows down. Right? So narrow that all we're doing is seeing either the goal itself and we're like, I gotta get there, or we're seeing the obstacles in front of us. Right? And when we're in such a narrow focus, we actually don't see possibilities and opportunities. Right? We're always in a state of reaction then to what's in front of us, rather than a state of response. Right? We're not responding to what's in front of us. We're not seeing the whole field. Right? Again, if I go back to my martial arts training, in Aikido we had an expression that said you need to have soft eyes and not to give your eyes away. If you give your eyes away to the opponent, what happens is they're in charge. Right? And all you can do is react to what they're doing. But if you have soft eyes, you open up your field of vision and you see what's going on in front of you, but you see all the possibilities in which you can move. Right? And so we want to engage in practices of opening our perspectives up so we can see possibility. R stands for releasing. Because sometimes it's not so much that we fixate on the problem or the challenge or the goal, which is real, but we fixate on an aspect of experience that actually doesn't do any good for us. It's just a waste of energy. A common one is the past. If only things were different. Right? Now, why is this a waste of energy? Right? Unless you have a time machine, you're not going to do anything about that. So it drains the energy. Or we fixate on beliefs, right? Beliefs that aren't useful for us. Like a common belief I hear from people who have difficulty getting to their goals is, I am, can you fill with the blank? I am lazy. It's a common thing I hear. I'm a procrastinator. It's another common thing I hear. Well, here's an interesting thing, right? If you believe that you're lazy, what's going to happen? You will act in a way that supports the idea, which then confirms to you that you are this, and therefore you will continue to act in that particular way. Now, are you lazy? Yes, you are. But you're also motivated. You're both of those things at the same time. Right? They're both true. it is true that we can be lazy. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, our brain works this way. Our brain needs two things to function well. One thing that it needs is efficiency. So it kind of tries to make things easier, right? So the more you practice something, the easier it becomes subconscious, right? And so what happens is you can chew gum and walk at the same time, right? It's useful to create these efficiencies. Your brain is inherently lazy because it wants to conserve energy. But your brain also requires challenge. Otherwise, it atrophies. You become like a tapeworm. You know what a tapeworm is? It's kind of disgusting. You just had lunch, so you're okay now. Right? But a tapeworm evolved to no longer have a brain. Right? It evolved to no longer have a brain. How did it do that? Well, it found an environment, inside a person like you, hopefully, right? Where it had ample food, because the food just came to it. It didn't have to chase the food down, right? And it developed these like little prongs that its mouth would open when your mouth would open, right? So it didn't have to do anything. It didn't have to, no predators, right? Hopefully if you catch it, then the drugs or the doctor was the predator, but typically no predators, right? And so it didn't need a brain anymore. It was just like there, existing. So I'm guessing you don't want to become like a tapeworm. So what we also need is to recognize that the brain needs challenge. And that's also an inherent part of what the brain is seeking. So we're both lazy and we're motivated individuals at the same time. And what we want to do is activate the right states for the right time. So when you're sitting on a beach in Hawaii, it's probably okay to let the part of your brain that wants to be a little lazy kind of kick in, right? So you can chill out. But when you're focusing on a goal, you don't want that part to be in charge. You want a different part to be in charge. And so we want to learn how to do that. Now, releasing is about letting go of the beliefs or the focuses that take our energy away. And so when the energy goes away from your brain, it's naturally going to go into lazy mode. Right? So we want to energize the brain, not de-energize it. All right. Lastly is E for extending. Extending out into the field. So, the first expression I said is first you center, then you extend. Well, inevitably you got to go into the world, right? You got to live in the world. And so how do we energize what we want to create? Most information out there about goal setting is about the extending part, but we're going to fine-tune that a little bit, about how we do that in a way that is effective.